breaking news from News Channel 3.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Butita. We are following breaking news in the Santa Barbara backcountry. This is the smoke that is visible from the Santa Barbara area from the Ray fire. And we are now getting our first live pictures from the fire line itself. Our crew just arriving on the scene. This is what we know so far. 75 to 100 acres. Fire department from Santa Barbara County says this thing is burning with a rapid rate of spread. It is impacting travel along the 154. It's very close to where traffic goes through there. There's a lot of fire resources and equipment making their way to this fire. Again, 75 to 100 acres burning in the Los Padres National Forest. They have begun making water drops on this. There's at least one helicopter out there, and that looks like there's quite a bit of vegetation for this thing to continue to burn, at least for the next couple of hours. We have our crew that just got there, John Palmentary. We're going to check in with him in a moment. Winds and the temperatures apparently being quite a factor for firefighters as they're jumping on the Ray fire. It is R-E-Y, Ray fire, and this thing broke out just after 3 o'clock. First calls to the fire department were at 3:15, and this is just about an hour into this thing, and it seems to be burning pretty well and in some vegetation that doesn't look like it's burned in quite a while. And it looks like, I don't know if there's a drop coming in or maybe just smoke from the other side, but you can see right there white smoke going up, a lot of things burning as well. And Alan, you're watching the winds on this. What can you see from these live pictures as we're getting our first look? Yeah, Joe, the winds aren't too terribly strong, but look at that fire racing up the hillsides. And, you know, many of us probably know this, but if not, fire naturally wants to move up the slopes, and that's sort of the natural progression or movement. That's exactly what's happening there. It is not a primarily wind-driven fire at this point, I would say, with wind gust under 20 miles an hour, but still breezy to gusty in that area, and it looks like the strongest winds, Joe, will continue for about the next, say 3 to 4 hours. Right now, temperature is the biggest problem. It's 95 degrees. Humidity as well, bone dry at 6%. There's that wind again coming out of the southeast, sustained between 5 and 10, with gusts right now at about 18 miles an hour. Red flag warning not in effect in Santa Barbara nor San Luis Obispo counties, still for Ventura County, and that there continues now until 9 p.m. Friday. Let's take a look at the Ray fire forecast tonight. We'll say variable winds. Even though it's out of the southeast now, I think it's going to turn more westerly later tonight, and then eventually those winds will die down right around 9, 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, quiet in the morning, but by the afternoon, winds coming out of the south, southwest, maybe 10 to 15, gust around 20. Tonight, humidity recoveries look very good. We'll see humidity roll up to between maybe 75 and 85%. Should get some marine layer there, maybe a little bit of fine mist in the air. Tomorrow, though, another bone dry day, another hot day as well, with daytime highs tomorrow afternoon back up into the upper 80s to lower and even middle 90s. So Mother Nature not necessarily hurting it too much, Joe. We're not seeing a lot of strong wind, and there's no sundowners in that area expected tonight, but certainly not helping with the dry, hot conditions. Not at all. Being so dry out there. 5 years of drought. All right, Alan, thank you very much. Again, these pictures coming in, our very first look at the fire lines as they're burning uphill. Let's try to tell you exactly where this is. This is Paradise Road campground area. There have been evacuations ordered at that campsite, as well as the Los Prietos Boys Camp. And here's a map. You can see it in relation to the 154 and Lake Cachuma, exactly where this fire is burning. We're hearing it may now be upwards of 200 acres. I'm not sure that has been confirmed yet, but we're hearing 200 acres. So this started, the first report, 3 to 5 at the size of a football field. Now well over 100 at least, as you can see the large plume of smoke burning, and it's visible from Goleta, Santa Barbara. And we have another map we're going to take you to right now. This is of all the fires burning in California. So you can add another pinpoint right above the L in Los Angeles there, which is near where we are. And that just adding to the problem for resources when it comes to fighting these fires. So many firefighters from our area sent either to Soberana's fire up in Monterey. They're down in San Bernardino with the Blue Cut fire, which has been so destructive. We've been watching that over the last couple of days. And now we have this fire burning. Right, Joe. It's so rugged, the terrain. That's something else important to point out. I'm not sure on the attack yet. I'm sure the ground crews and air crews are getting ready if they're not there already, but that's some very rugged, tough terrain to get to. There's a lot of canyons there, a lot of difficulties in
in trying to set up that perimeter around the fire. And I'm sure John Palmentary, once he gets set up, will talk about that very fact. So the attack is going to be critical, determining where they think the fire will grow and exactly how they approach the attack on ground and in the air. But right now, again, winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour, gusting near 20, burning in the back country. And there's John Palmentary.
There's John. He's been getting information, and we're going to check in with him as soon as we are able to establish some contact. But he is the first one out on the scene. Firefighters hadn't even been there. We were on the air about a half hour ago giving an update on this fire that we just saw breaking out just from the smoke, and firefighters had not yet arrived on the scene. They had a helicopter that was up there, and we are going to go to John Palmentary now, the first reporter on the scene, and he has an update from the Ray fire. John?
And this is an explosive fire in the San Ynez Valley. It broke out in an area near the San Ynez River, tinder dry, 5 years of drought, an area that has not burned in a while. It's before the White Rock camping ground, and the Sheriff's Department, Search and Rescue, Los Padres National Forest, and the Santa Barbara County Fire Department are on the scene right now. Take a look at it now, going from the riverbed across your screen to the left. This is in a direction that would head towards the San Marcos Golf Course, and that direction if it was to get over all these ridge lines. But you can see there's no access roads in there right now, and we have active flame over a wide variety of areas, canyons, mountaintops, some of the thick brush up there at the top. You can see just how thick, dry, and old it is because of the black, thick smoke that is burning. That is an indication of old, dry, dead, diseased trees, brush, scrub brush, but not tall oak trees, particularly in that area, although they're up there. But as you can see, there's a lot of gaps where there is no fire, so they might be able to have some type of a plan for containment. The problem is the wind, even though it's moderate, as you'll see in our First Alert Weather Center, it is bending to the left. It has some activity that is spreading hot burning embers all the way over to the left of your screen, just all the way over on that ridge line. You can see just how far up in the hill it's going, and coming back here to the right a little bit, right about there. If you see what I'm pointing at there, there's fire already starting to lick up against that very far ridge line, which is a very serious concern, because now you see the dynamics of this fire as far as where it started, somewhere around the White Rock campground or in the riverbed, and then all the way up, climbing these hills and canyons to that peak. And if it goes over there, the spread rate and the potential in and out of the canyons with no access roads whatsoever could be a very serious concern in that area for a long time to come here on this afternoon. So we're very mindful of that here. Fortunately, they did an excellent job of getting an evacuation plan underway immediately out of here, with the campers being called by PA systems, and we've seen some of the Sheriff's Department personnel already going up and down the roadway. We've seen the search and rescue out here with their units with lights and sirens as well, getting the campers loaded up and out. I talked to one resident, we'll be hearing from her shortly, who said she got her cat and got out, but she's very worried about her home. Now, you know, they have campers out here, but they also have cabins as well that are out here, and some of the regular residents that are out here in those small roadside cabins here on Paradise Road. For those of you who are not familiar with this area, this is about 3 miles in from Highway 154. The smoke is very ominous and big from the Santa Barbara side, but it's not blowing that direction. It's not blowing over the riverbed, over Paradise Road and towards Santa Barbara. The smoke is going from the riverbed out towards the valley, and then it goes up and it looks giant over Goleta, but it's burning in wildland area, not through structures that we are aware of right now. Down in the low part of the riverbed, which is dry, you see we've got flames right in what should be the Santa Ynez River. Tinder dry, empty, no water, and flames down there. Overhead, we've had helicopters making water drops. We've got some air tankers that were very quick to the scene. As soon as we got here, we saw both helicopters and air tankers, and they're loading up on water sources that they can find nearby. There are some water holes near here that they have used in the past, and they're also Lake Kachuma, not too far away either, and of course they've always practiced and done their water lifts from there. But as you can see, these canyons are coming alive there with fire, all in and out. So where they don't have wind, they have terrain. Here comes a fire helicopter. That's yellow and blue. It looks like Ventura County's arrived as well to assist. And we've got a number of brush trucks from different agencies that are roaring in from CAL FIRE, Santa Barbara County Fire, and U.S. Forest Service. So that's the very latest. We don't know of any structures on this fire so far, but we do know that this is a very active and growing fire. It's about 90-plus degrees out here, mild winds where we're at. We've had some gusts, but certainly it's showing signs of spreading throughout the entire range that we can see on our screen, but not beyond that right now. So we'll keep you posted on where it's going and what its potential is throughout the afternoon, evening, and into tomorrow. That's the very latest. We're off Paradise Road, and this is called the Ray Fire. We're between the 154 and Whitewalk Campground, and it's certainly spreading right now. We'll have updates for you throughout the afternoon and evening.
All right, John, thank you very much. Again, here's a look from the Santa Barbara area. You can see the amount of smoke that is there. We've also just received some information about State Route 154. Of course, if you're taking the pass, it is closed. So do not go on the 154 right now. It's closed between State Route 246 and the 192. So if you have plans of getting into the Santa Ynez Valley, try to go around the 101, and if you get in through Buellton, great. But things are closed along the 154 as fire crews are trying to get resources and equipment up to this fire that is now burning over 100 acres back in the Santa Ynez Valley. We're going to have updates throughout the afternoon, and of course on News Channel 3 at 5 o'clock. We'll see you back here in a couple of minutes.
The Santa Barbara